Okay, so recently I was working with someone who had their dog on place. Um, this person was doing another task while their dog was on place, so they were somewhat distracted. I noticed the dog was getting restless. I was just observing to see if they were going to address the dog, pay the dog, how attentive they were being to the dog, because this dog is in the conditioning phase of this behavior. There was a couple uh-uhs. I hadn't seen any payouts in a long time. And so I told the person, you should pay your dog. And they responded with, or I think I asked them, like, when the last time you paid the dog. I think they said like 8 minutes maybe. I don't know. But I hadn't seen it in a while. So I knew the dog was due for a payout. Anyways, their response was, well, I thought just being on the cot was the reward. And while that may have some reinforcing value, because the dog would rather be on the cot than in the crate, the more value we bring to this behavior that we're trying to condition, the stronger that behavior is going to be. The quicker that behavior is going to be conditioned. And also, we don't know exactly what behaviors have naturally reinforcing value. I mean, we do to a certain extent, but we don't know how strong that value is. So while, yes, the dog may prefer being on the cot versus being on the crate, that dog may also prefer being in the middle of the floor, being in the middle of the room, which is kind of in the way for a big dog. It's a big dog that we're talking about. Also, that dog may prefer walking around the house to see if there's anything he can snack on. That dog may prefer being under your feet. That dog may prefer getting on the furniture. So there's other behaviors that may actually be more valuable to the dog than laying on that cot. So that's why it's our responsibility to show the dog this behavior not only has a self-reinforcing value because it feels good and it's better than, maybe being in the crate, but I value it. And I'm going to give you access to the resources that I control when you deliver this behavior. So give the dog affection, give the dog praise, give the dog food, give the dog a play invite, give the dog freedom to go and explore, give the dog, access to water, like whatever you have to offer, it's not just the cot, it's behavior in general that you want to condition, strengthen, maintain. The more value you give that behavior, the harder it is to extinguish the behavior. Behavior gets extinguished because there's no reinforcing consequence attached to that behavior. So like I said, if, the dog's laying on the cot reliably and you just ignore it because you're like, yeah, like he enjoys it and I don't need to reinforce it. Well, one day he may wander over to you and find, oh, I actually get more attention when I come over and put my head on your lap, when I bark, when I start scavenging around the house. That gets your ass up. That gets your ass interacting with the dog. And, if the dog goes and grabs its toy, puts it in your lap. Oh, you want to play? Okay, let's go play. So now the dog's learning like, oh, laying over on the cot doesn't really get me anything. But when I do all these other things, my handler gets activated. My handler interacts with me. I get play. I get attention. I get affection. I get physical activity. I may get random little snacks that I find on the ground. So that is why it's your responsibility to be proactive and show the value of the behaviors that you want your dog to perform.